5:15. Roll. Tears come to my eyes. I can't remember the stopping point on that video. I'm not even halfway through it. It was a link that Not Your Fucking Guru put up about street beefs. It's not real private. It's a secret club. Anyway, this guy got in. Oh my God, put the link in. Anyway, I wake up this morning at 4:30. And I scroll, turn the rain off because I put some rain or ocean sounds on to sleep because, man, these dogs snore. I gotta, sometimes they snore or sniffle or whatever. Gotta drown that shit out with nature sounds. And it's not a nature sound to hear a dog. It's when they're licking their groin in the middle of the night. Blah, blah. It's horrible. It's a terrible noise. But anyway, man, did Not Your Fucking Guru rip the lid off for me this morning on a subject that I had heard of. I hadn't heard of fight clubs as in the sense of in schools or anywhere. I mean, I guess if I was to be questioned, I would imagine that they existed, but I never gave it any thought. Heard about the movie, like everybody else did, and I've seen, like in trailers and whatever, and I'm just like, there's Brad Pitt and whatever. But I wasn't a huge movie watcher in the last 30 years because I was raising kids. I mean, I can't sit. I have too much to do. And then oftentimes the movies just weren't that great anymore. So I just kind of gave it up after a while. But now in hindsight, I'm like, man, I wish I had watched certain movies, like probably about 50. I wish I had watched in the past 30 years because you get people, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Because it's very telling. You know what I'm saying? It's very telling about the condition of society or the game they're playing on us or whatever. But man, wow, this subject of controlled fighting. Man, listening to this guy, Scarface, explain his life, growing up, where he was, what was happening, what he was thinking and feeling, and I'm thinking, I know that you can make interviews and you can make them look a certain way, but there was something about, I'm being influenced. I'm allowing myself to be influenced by this edited interview. I am. I'm allowing myself to be influenced because I can feel his genuine vibe coming through. He's just being honest. This guy is not twisting anything up, nothing. He's like, this isn't easy. I don't love this. This is instead of watching these guys kill themselves or finding out that they kill each other or one kills the other. And these little kids are left without a dad and all this. What has happened is, now I've not even studied this long. It's been about 20 minutes, been about a half an hour. I watched Not Your Guru's video. Then I watched her first clip about the middle school, the one she posted about the middle schoolers that were fighting. They had rules where they weren't even allowed to hit each other in the face or anything. There was no marks on them. These kids were bitch slapping each other in the bathroom. And the schools are like, oh my God, treating them worse than if they're freaking toting guns into the school. It's ridiculous. They're suspending students for videotaping a slap fight. Boys. In middle school, after making them sit in these chairs for 7-8 hours a day, 9 months or more out of the year, trying to cut their nuts off, trying to turn them into little, they're gonna feel like a little energetic. There's gonna be grinding of personalities. You're shoving all these people, young people, into these indoctrination center rooms, and if you don't do that, if you don't fight, that's terrible. You shouldn't fight. Then they send them through all this pansy fucking school, telling them how to cut their dicks and tits off and swap genders. Then they try to pump them directly into the military from there in the United States. I'm telling you, and I'm just like, have you seen the commercials? Or have seen videos of people taking United States military commercials on TV and comparing them to military commercials in other countries like Russia. It's a fucking laugh. I sent it to my daughter who was in the military briefly. Even her being in there briefly. I mean, being a child of a soldier, and he went 20 years, so he was basically in the military almost their entire childhoods. And he wasn't like infantry or anything. He was an interpreter. But he still, when he was deployed, he carried a gun. He carried a handgun. Actually, I'm like, damn, you gave that dude a handgun. Anyway, whatever. I wouldn't give him a slingshot. But in the name of Jesus, he never had to use it, as far as I know. Because he was flying on a helicopter. They're like, here's a pistol. He's like, he never had a pistol before. What the fuck? Anyway, that's beside the point. The point is, he was not hoorah fighter guy. He was into fitness and still is to a degree. He's not hyper into fitness. He runs, he does, basic fitness, which is good. It's great. I'm glad that he does that. I'm glad that was an influence in their lives. I'm saying he's not it's weird. Somebody's in the army, but he's not a super fighter. Okay, he wants to use his mind. He's an extreme covert narcissist. He battles with his brain, which his arrogance is way higher than his actual intelligence. But he's got this splinter skill in his brain where he was able to learn Arabic, which is incredible. It's like, wow. I don't know how fluent he is today, but probably not very. But at any rate, yeah, he passed DLI, went, he was in the Gulf War and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just saying that my daughters, they were, I can see where they had conflict with their, besides the fact that there was nothing but conflict after I left him with him trying to, whatever. Because I was coming from the house of God, whereas everybody's going to just lay down and die and let everybody whip the shit out of you in the name of Jesus, because blah, blah, blah. So it was like, then he gets this, they have this mom who's like, no violence, no this and that, and lay down and die for the cause of Christ. And then they got their dad who's in the military. And so I gotta bet you, man, their minds are, anyway. My oldest daughter, having been in the military, I'm certain, likely agrees with Guru, not Guru. I'm going to call you the Guru, because you say not your Guru. We'll call you Guru for short. And this is exactly what you don't want. But anyway, we know what it means. It means not your Guru. So it's interesting how one was schooled from small up to view this. And especially women, I think, will have a much more difficult time understanding it. Because when I watch Gunsmoke and I see these men, like a man will just come in and start shit in the bar, and he just throws them out in the street, and they're beating the shit out of each other, and then they're hugging at the end, and yeah, best friends forever. Like, what the fuck is wrong with men? I kept asking Lenny, like, what is wrong with men? I don't get it, because oftentimes the fight is just something ridiculous. It's like somebody's pride was hurt. It didn't have anything to do with anything, and then they attack the guy that was just being real, and then the guy being real is like, beats the guy's ass, and then they're friends or whatever. Just like, what? I don't really get it. But now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, I'm not claiming to understand it fully. But what I do get is the respect from one man to another that says, okay, you were really pissed at me, even if I don't think it was legit. And instead of being a pussy-ass bitch and picking up a gun and shooting me in the back, you challenged me. We fought. You were, a formidable opponent. And you were able to release your anger towards me. And I respect you for not killing me and having the nerve to fight me. Is that it, guys? I kind of get it. And I'm thinking, not that I'm into, hormone replacement, but I'll bet you that the females that have made the wrong decision to go on testosterone, and start to get these feelings from this, probably understand it a hell of a lot better than women, normal, average women who have not grown around violence or anything. They probably understand it better than we do. So I'm just saying, hey, look, if men say it's a guy thing you don't understand, I think we should believe them. Because we're always trying to be like, women are like, well, it's guys you don't understand. And the guys are like, look, let's get that we just don't get it and believe that it's real. This need to fight at times is real. Because the emotional pressure of what is happening in the situation is so extreme, the person can't even sleep at night. It's just like they're humiliated, they're whatever, they got to, and I'm like, yeah, I feel like this is at the bottom of my own personal angst and insanity at this point in my life, is that I have been suppressed, and my rage and anger has been suppressed so much so that it is just turned on myself. I have no self-respect as far as, why didn't I fight? Why didn't I stand up and fight that person? Because I was living under the churchianity rules. When I went into court, I sat there with my mouth shut. I didn't do shit. I didn't do a fucking thing because I was living in this false paradigm in my mind that The kingdom of God indeed is on earth. No, it's not on earth. It's inside of us. It is not, it's not outside of us. We are not, I was trying to superimpose my belief system on top of what was going on in the courtroom. It wasn't going to happen. It was never going to fucking happen. What I should have done is beat the fuck out of him. And then he'd have called the police and I went to prison. See, this is the thing. You can't even, this whole thing where they started locking people up for fighting. I mean, it even started in Gunsmoke times. Like, most oftentimes, Matt would be like, and I know this is, it's TV is pretend, Karen. I know, but it's, gives you a glimpse into what might have happened. Sometimes he didn't. He'd just like, knock it off, you guys, go home. But sometimes, if somebody was a super aggressor, like just ran in and just started beating the fuck out of somebody for no, Matt would be like, come on, man, nah, man, you're going to jail. You can't do that. You can't run up and start beating the fuck out of somebody with a head bang on the head with your gun butt or whatever. You can't do that, But I mean, if there was, like, it was like always, there was no black and white, Matt would have to hear, well, now wait a minute, what is this about? Because psychologically, he knows some of these street beefs are legit. And they need to be handled by the two men. Let them handle it. And the cool thing about street beefs is there's referees. No one is allowing anyone to get killed. There are rules. Don't hit like this. Don't hit here, 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 here. Because they don't want people to be serious. They don't want them to be hospitalized. They don't want them to die. They want them to go on with their lives, having released this anger, this conflict in a safe environment and move on. And I'm thinking, man. And yeah, see, this is a thing. You get a lot of evil people in it that want to encourage violence, that want to encourage children to act like animals. And I get that. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about the psychos who get off on watching people bludgeon each other to death. Like the, and forced into it. Like, I don't know, the Roman Colosseums, that they just throw people in there and be like, fight unto the death and all this shit. Come on! That aren't even mad at each other, just for the entertainment of the fucking sick. We're not talking about that. We're talking about people that have honest beefs, that want to sign up. Yeah, I want to fight this person legitimately, safely, whatever. We're going to meet here and do it. And I see absolutely zero wrong with this. But see, it's all about regulations. Oh, we need regulations. I know, because like I said, you've got that whole evil side that are going to push people to want to be violent, where this should be the last stop in disputes. Should be Fight Club. It shouldn't be the first choice. It shouldn't be, let's train for Fight Club so the second I have a problem with somebody, I can beat their ass. No, absolutely not. But who's going to be the judge of what's serious enough to fight? And so, you're always going to have that problem. But man, lady, you ripped the lid off for me today. It's 13 minutes in. I'm going to finish my coffee. I might have to reheat it. And I'm going to cut this hair. I'm going to fight with my hair. Let's meet. I'm going to meet. We're going to meet. We're going to duke it out. And then we're going to respect each other for a couple of weeks. All right. Man, you woke me up today. I was like, man, I'm so bored with all these so boring rabbit holes. And all of a sudden she's like, Fight Club. I'm like, I hadn't even thought. I need to go to classes. I don't think Lenny's going to be impressed with the idea of going to classes. He's, why don't you just do it online? Just take video, because I'm just got no self-discipline. I got no self-discipline, Len. If I don't drive to the class and have other people looking at me and scrutinizing me, I'm probably not going to do it. But I might. Sheena, going to jiu-jitsu, get it. We women need to feel like we can protect ourselves. I think all women, girls, children should all be in self-defense classes of reputable places that teach children that fighting is the last thing you do. But because there's dangerous people out there, we want to train you for your body to automatically understand how to defend yourself in the event that some nutter's coming at you. Can you imagine how much better they'd do in school if they had this self-confidence? Maybe there'd be less bullying, there'd be less bullies. Bullies bully when they are insecure. If they felt more secure about themselves in martial arts, maybe they wouldn't be bullies. Or if they were, their victims would already be trained on how to defend themselves. So Self-defense classes should be taught if you're going to freaking lock these kids up all day in Children's Federal Day Prison indoctrination centers, teach them how to defend themselves. No, they won't. You know why? Because that's not their goal. Their goal is to have your kids switch tits and dicks with each other, your boys to put dresses on, your girls to freaking put on their freaking work boots and grab a gun and go out and freaking in a war zone and get gang raped by their battle buddies and shit. That's the goal of the public school system. And if you don't think it is, look again. Okay? They're also there to make sure your children turn on you 100% and tell you, fuck you, parents, to your faces. Every day, all day. That is what the schools are teaching your children. So good luck with that. Glad mine are grown. In the name of Jesus, man, I'm gonna put on some self-defense video. Like, where do I start? Right?